Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Geeky Crossing here, and today I'm coming to you with another installment for villager yard ideas. And today the villager in question is Pietro. So this guy was requested in the comments of one of my other videos, so I got him on my island so I could do him for you guys. So obviously he's super colourful, he's like a walking rainbow, and the inside of his house is super Kidcore. So most of my designs are going to be based around Kidcore, or they will at least be super fun and colourful. So without any further ado, let's get started. So for the first one, we are going straight in with this custom design. I got 3 different ones and I will show them to you guys. So I'm blocking out a pathway and then blocking out a small area up here to make a little space, and I'm using some of the woodblock furniture because I think it's super Kidcore, and I'm using it in the vivid colours. So I've got 2 bookshelves in 2 different customization, and I thought about having the table there, but it was really big, so I went with the block stereo to the left and just chose a song that I thought would suit a little bit, and a stool in the pink customization with one of the stripy customizations from the Able Sisters patterns in the customization bit. And then over to the left here, I'm using the light dirt path to map out a square here. And in here, I'm adding in a playground gym and making this into like a small play park. So I'm also going in with a tire stack, which has been customized to be super bright and colourful, and a rocking horse as well, and a tricycle over to the right. And I'm just going to play around with this a little bit and work on the yard. So I'm going to extend this a bit, keeping the custom codes mixed up, and I'm going to add in a tiny library in one of the more colourful customizations, and I'm just playing around with having a stool here with the wooden block toy on top of it. And then I'm going to use a red phone box here because I feel like it suits the design. And then above here I'm going to play around with this area. So I'm having a look at the tree standees because I think they're quite Kidcore, and I think they're actually really quaint, and I think they're super cute. So I was playing around with how I could possibly position these. Then I looked at adding a couple of other things to make the design a bit more interesting, and I expanded the play park to give it a bit more space so I could play around with the area and add a couple more things in and make it so it's still accessible. So I added in that tire toy to the back so you could sit on it, and one of the spring sort of horses here. And then I'm just going to take the path up to the phone box and take it down both sides to link it up with the other pathways. I really can't wait to do a Kidcore island because I feel like it's just so fun and colourful, and I feel like I'd be so happy whenever I got on, even more so than I am already. So on top of the block table here, I've used a tea cozy, a mum's homemade cake, a ring toss, and a dollar horse in blue. And over to the right I've used a cute lamp, and now I'm playing around with where I can put a public bench. So that's the public bench in green and a baby chair in the yellow, but I realised you wouldn't be able to sit in the baby chair if it was there, so I moved it further up to see what this would look like, and I quite like that. I added in the cute floor lamp in yellow behind the baby chair, and a yellow candy machine over here. Just added in a bit more of the path, and then went around to add in some flowers and things like that, just to add in some more height and a bit more colour, and kept the design pretty simple. But it was mainly about the colour, and I was really happy with how this one turned out, so I will go ahead and show you guys some aesthetic shots of this one. Now we're going to move on to the second design. And again, I'm just going to start with blocking some areas off. So for this one, I wanted to change up the scenery. So I added in a big water feature. So I just started off by kind of blocking the area that I wanted this to be in. I wanted it to come from that water source up from the right down here, and I wanted it to have stepping stones. So I used my custom paths as I was going, so I didn't have to go back and rebuild. And then I cut the grass out around those squares. So I went about trying to round out the corners and make the design of it look a bit more natural. And once I was happy with the shape of it, I moved on up to the top to add in the waterfalls where it would come down. So I added the waterfalls in on the two different areas. And I was really happy with how that turned out. So I just went about adding in the paths that would go on the left side. And then what I was left with was quite a small area compared to what I would usually work with. So I went about again just keeping it really colourful. And I wanted this one to be quite homely and quite cozy. So I used the blue cute sofa with the cute floor lamp in pink. Then I used the cute tea table and placed the mom's tissue box on top of that because I had one of the super colourful versions. And then I tried to work out where I could place this crescent moon chair. As always, I want it to be accessible and look good at the same time. And I also played around with how I could place this street piano. Then I went about placing some custom codes for ground cover over the floor. These custom designs are all in my custom design video that I released for my island, and any of the ones I get for the video I will usually put in a few seconds of it being on the screen so you guys can take note of the design code. I tried to see if this festival parasol was going to look good, but I did end up, I think, fully taking it out in the end. But I was just trying to break up that area from where the piano was. I left that and then went to see if I could place a few things around and see where things were going to look good. And I had a couple more of the tree standees, so I wanted to see if they would work well. This one is kind of looking quite fairy-core, and I was really happy with how it was turning out so far. And I had all the items that I wanted to use, I just didn't know how I was going to put them all together. So basically I was moving things around and being really nitpicky in this one to try and find the right placement. I added in a couple of flowers to flesh out the design a little bit. I used fairy-core kind of style colours with blues, pinks, whites and purples and things like that. I added in some more ground cover with the custom codes. And I was quite happy with how the tree standee looked behind the piano, and I thought that looked quite good. And that's the festival drum to the right of the piano. And then I added in a tiny library in, I think it's the fairy tale customization. And now I will go ahead and show you guys some aesthetic shots of this one. Again, this one used barely any items, but I think it looks super cute. And it's on a smaller area, which I don't do very regularly, so... Now we will move on to the next design. So for this one, I wanted to do a farm. I always try and do a farm whenever I do a villager idea now, because I know a lot of people like them and I think they look super cute, and I like trying to work out what different villagers might have in their little farm area. So I was using the same custom code that I've been using for the last ones for the pathway, and I used a mixture of the light dirt and the dark dirt for the farm. So I'm just going about with the different variations of this code for the path. And I'm just going to see what fencing I'll be using, and I've taken out the country fencing and the barbed wire fence, and I'm just going to add in some ground cover with custom codes underneath some of the fences and a roundabout on the grass. So I'm just using a mix of these little flowers and clovers, and then I'm just going to put the fence over them and then start adding in a couple of items into the farm. So I'm using the mum's cushions there in white and red, and I'm also going to add in some of the like fruit and flower furniture, because I want this to be quite a Kidcore farm. I want it to suit Pietro, so I'm going to use some vibrant primary coloured flowers. And then I've used the peach chair, the orange end table, and the pansy table in there at the moment. And then I'm adding in a lawnmower and a wheelbarrow over here in yellow and blue. And then I'm going to add in a garden cart over here and a mush lamp, because I want this to be sort of like Kidcore cottagecore, if that makes sense. And then I placed down this bamboo grass because I thought it was really colourful and I thought it would suit it quite well. And then I started working on this area to the top left here. And I wanted to stick with the fruity theme and keep it super colourful and vibrant. Here I've used the tricycle again, as well as the blue bird cage. And I'm using a succulent on top of a stone stool here, and adding in a picnic basket to this small seating area at the back. I used another stone stool here and added in a mum's homemade cake. And now I am finished. Again, with the small water feature over to the right and the cliff coming in, it was again quite a small area to work with. But I was really pleased how this one came out, and I hope you guys like it too. I think the peach chair should probably be changed for something else because it just looks like a big pink blob, but other than that I was really happy with everything else. So this is one of the custom codes that I'm going to be using in the next one. And this is their creator code here. As you can see, they've got loads of pro designs as well, and I'm going to use some of these colourful tiles in my design. They have a super cute Kuromi in my Melody one, which is really quite cute. So we're going to move on to the next design now, and this one's going to be a bit more kind of modern, I guess. So I'm going to block in some of the colour tiles now, and again I've downloaded a couple of them, so I've got a variation. I wanted this one because it fully covered the grass rather than the other square one that I got, which I feel is more of a very cute, natural, colourful pathway to be used. So I was blocking out quite a big area for this for what I had in mind. And then I fenced off with this blue fence because I feel this fits sort of Kidcore aesthetic. And then I was trying to work out where I could place the teacup ride, finally got that placed down, and then went about placing down a few other sort of toy items. I again expanded this as I normally have to so I could add in the fencing. I tried to add in the cotton candy store, but I wouldn't have been able to walk around everything if I did. So I changed it for the candy machine and a woodblock chair. And then I went about expanding this down at the bottom as well, so I would have a bit more space and so I could fence it off. Then I placed all the fencing down, moved the teacup ride, and kind of went about finishing up this area. And I used the other Kidcore custom code that I had got to add in the pathway up to Pietro's house. And again, I used the variation of this just to keep things a bit different. In that gap, I'm gonna add in an in-game path. I'm just gonna use the stone pathway and block out the rectangle. And I'm gonna add in 2 different coloured retro gas pumps and 2 of the throwback race car beds in different colours as well. Just because I wanted to make this one super Kidcore, super colourful. Again, there's not that many items in this one, but I think it I wanted to give Pietro his own sort of fairground, and I thought it suited him quite well, so I decorated some of the upper area and the surrounding area a little bit with some other sort of colourful and Kidcore slash slightly citycore items. And then I added in a couple of things up here. I finally got to use the cotton candy stall. And then I went about finishing up the area inside here and moving things around. And then just to give the build some continuity, I just carried it on slightly over to the side here with some public benches and linked up the pathway just a little bit. And then yeah, once I had done that, I was happy with the design, and I will now show you guys some pictures of it. So we're going to move on to the last idea now, and for this one I wanted to make it more citycore than the last one, so I wanted to add in an infinity pool to start with, just a very small one at the back. Then I went down about mapping the pathway, so I used the archstone path to begin with to map out an area. I mapped out quite a large area so I could give him a sort of personalised area as well as the pool, and then I used iron fencing, again just the blue fence. I extended it a bit more at the bottom so I would have a bit more room to play with and space for the fencing. So I added this all around, and I used 2 hedges just where the entrance is. And I used one of the Kidcore paths here that I downloaded just as a sort of entrance into the pool. And then I wanted to work on the surrounding area, so I blocked off some spaces with the in-game stone path. I used the sand path here for what I wanted to do in this little space. So I just mapped out a rectangle and then added in a couple of playground items, because although it was citycore, cities definitely have playgrounds and parks too. So I added in a little one because I thought it would make sense for it to be near Pietro's house. And then I used terracotta on this side so it would match with the colouring. And I just blocked out this square here, and then I went up to add in a couple of items into Pietro's space. So I added in a couple of plants, and then I added in some furniture pieces. So I added in the chair and the table here, and I didn't put the table in front of the chair because that's one of those chairs that you can't get into from the side, so that I would have had to have left like a big space. So then I went about adding in a couple more items like the retro gas pump, the tire stack, and the phone box out here. And I used a blue one for this build because there was quite a lot of blue, and I tried to add in a white snack machine and one of these springy ride-on horses. I did play around with this a bit more and tried out how the arcade game would look with the drinks machine as well, and tried to see what the phone box would look like over here. And then I added in a candy machine in red over there, and then I added in a wooden block bookshelf with a fruit basket on top there, and I changed that peach for a coconut juice on top of the table, and added in a tire toy next to the snack machine instead of the drinks machine. And then I added in another one in a different blue shade to make a little seating area just outside Pietro's house for some nice pictures. And then on the upper bit I added in a couple of city core items like the Tower of Pisa and the pagoda and the utility pole. And I just kind of made this area look so it would tie in a bit. I didn't spend any time on this at all, as you can tell. It was just to add a little bit of fluidity into the build when you're taking photos so you guys can see how it would look. I added in a couple more utility poles around. Dumped my flowers off over here and ran back down to add in a bit of fencing over here. I tried to see what the arcade machine looked like there, but because of the fence it was just so far away, so it just looked too bulky. So I was finished. So again, I will show you guys some pictures of this one, and this is the last one. So I hope you guys enjoyed these ideas for Pietro. He's not really my favourite villager. I don't think I'd ever have him, but after having him on my island for a little while, I did grow to like him a bit more, and he is pretty cute. So, and I did enjoy getting to do some Kidcore design ideas. And Mary, as always, was investigating away. She's so cute. I love her little sweater. She's definitely one of my favorites. I love that she always appears in these videos. I'm going to be sad when she leaves my island. So, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you've got any villages that you'd like me to do. I now have a little bit of a list from comments, but I'm working my way through. Next up, we have the cutest deer villager, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, if you did like this video, then like and subscribe for more similar content, and feel free to check out my other villager yard ideas. I have a playlist that is slowly growing each week. I'm trying to release at least one of these videos a week, as well as other content. So please comment if there is anything that you guys would like to see, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!